Hey everyone, it is Danny and welcome to this update video this evening. I hope you're doing really great. And so we're going to be taking a look at the latest in terms of our disturbances out there, the three areas to watch. And it seems as though there's going to be a stream of rainfall heading into the Caribbean, which is going to cause some concerns. And so we're going to be looking at all of that. And before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Alright, so as we look at this wide view here of the Atlantic, here we can see that there's a lot going on out in the main development region. Lots of moisture, lots of convective activity. However, our disturbances remain fairly disorganized. And then as we take a look at other areas going up to parts of Florida, we can see that there is a lot going on there as well. Lots of showers and thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Let's move into the vicinity of the Caribbean. And here we can see this area, this cluster of these showers and thunderstorms that is continuing to drift to the west-northwest. So this is going to be making its way into the Gulf, where we might see some development take place as we head into the early to mid part of next week. Across some other areas, some spots in southwestern Jamaica, there was some thunderstorm activity popping up over in the Lesser Antilles. As I said in my update this morning, if you saw it, there would be sort of an intermittent scenario here. That is kind of what we have been seeing, because we're not talking about anything organized. So that shower and thunderstorm activity is quite widespread. But you can let me know what's happening in your area. Look into the ABC Islands, much not happening. Similar story for most of Central America, but there is some thunderstorm activity popping up across some spots in the Southwest Caribbean, especially off the coast of Nicaragua. There we see a lot of convective activity also developing in Panama and parts of Costa Rica. So some periods of heavy rainfall likely there. And then same story as we head to parts of northern South America, especially going to the Guyanas. And there was some thunderstorm activity near Trinidad earlier. So that is what we see happening this afternoon. Let's move on to this surface chart here, and we can see these vertical orange lines which mark the axes of the tropical waves out there. So one is in the Caribbean. The activity in association with it is what we're tracking for potential development in the Gulf. And then there is one ahead of Invest 99L, one of the disturbances, and then there's that next wave in that low pressure area in association with 98L. And so let's move on to the latest that the National Hurricane Center has to show. So as of the 2 p.m. update, we're seeing that there hasn't been a big change since this morning. So 60% chance of development for both of those invests out there through the next 7 days, and for that area highlighted in the Gulf, a 30% chance that we could see something get itself together over there. But regardless, there is likely to be a lot of rainfall activity streaming into parts of Texas, possibly even some parts of Louisiana and Mexico as well. So we want to keep an eye on that as we head into the new week. And then, as I said earlier, it is likely that we're going to be seeing some activity making its way into the Caribbean. So that tropical wave ahead of 99L could help to induce a lot of heavy rainfall, which can trigger flooding. And as a matter of fact, in terms of tropical cyclones on a whole, the water is always the problem. But we don't need a tropical cyclone to result in a lot of flooding. So there have been many times when these tropical waves move by with enough activity, which results in a lot of widespread devastation in terms of the flooding. So hopefully that won't be the case, but I want you guys to be on alert for that, because we definitely have to take the necessary precautions in such events. And now we're moving on to the model intensity guidance. So for 98L, that is our disturbance closer to Africa, which isn't going to be a problem for anyone. We can see here that most of the available models are expecting that this will acquire tropical storm status, that won't join a Cat 3, but that is pretty unlikely. So this might manage to become a named storm out there. Again, the next couple of names to be used for this season: Emily, Franklin, Gert, the next three names. So should all three of these systems develop, which I'm not too confident in seeing all of them develop out there, then those would be the names that they acquire. As we head to the intensity guidance for 99L, here we can see that not a whole lot of models available, but a couple of them, most of them are actually showing that this could also manage to become a tropical storm. And then in terms of the potential track, we see that west-northwestward to westward track expected of it over the next couple of days. So there is a lot down the road, a busy week ahead in terms of all of these systems here, and we might even see more popping up. Some models were pretty consistent on seeing something develop in the Caribbean. There's no guarantee of that happening, and only time will tell, but I'm here to keep you guys posted. And then finally, as we look at the dry air map, we can see that there is still a lot of dry air out there, which is the main problem for tropical waves coming off Africa. But more of these waves, especially these stronger waves, will help to diminish some of that dust and dry air, and that will create a more conducive environment for the future waves to move in and potentially develop, which is what some models are expecting. But of course, as all this happens, I will be keeping you guys posted, and that is pretty much what I wanted to share with you in this update. And so I hope you found it to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond once I get the chance, and as always, remember to be weatherwise.